What's up? Awesome. We already got a couple folks coming in here. All right, so we're gonna get rolling here in a sec. Feel free to put any of your questions in the comment. I'm gonna let folks get in, and we'll get rolling. Have a really cool announcement. Be sure to like and comment with any questions. Really cool announcement coming up. And then we'll have the second portion of this where one of my good friends and just amazing real estate investors doing some really cool things with mobile homes that we're building a fund around. We're going to have him on, and he's going to be talking about just that experience. And so as y'all can tell from the title, the PEFI Private Equity Fund Incubator is basically evolved into investment funding incubator. So we're kind of breaking into some other asset classes, and I wanted to share that. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to have Byron on in a bit. Some of y'all, if you watch Earn Your Leisure, he was on there recently, and just has done some really major things in the real estate space. Cool. Let's see who we got popping in. Pirate School comes in and says, what's up, big guy? I know, when I see your name pop up first, I know it's going to be a good live. We got Sigma Enigma. Greetings from San Francisco. I was just I'm in Rio right now with a friend that used to live in San Fran, and was talking to another one of my friends that just this morning. The Bay Area is coming up like crazy, it seems like. So eventually I will. Actually, my friend in the Bay Area was asking me, when am I going to make it that way? And it just, I'm overseas so much that when I am in the U.S., it's like getting into family time as much as possible, taking care of whatever business I have to take care of in the U.S. and then getting out there. I will say that Brazil has been a pleasant surprise. This is my very first time. I've been all over South America, 11 countries just in South America, and had never made it to Brazil. One of the reasons was because I was really focused on getting my Spanish to the next level, and finally made it here and absolutely love it. I'll show you all the view from where we are right now. Let's see. That's a little crooked. There we go. You can see the ocean out there. Awesome. All right, let me change this out. And we'll give no way. This is really crazy. Yet another person. Same here. Greetings from the Bay. Shout out to San Francisco. So I'm surrounded right now. Brittany, there's like, San Francisco just keeps coming up. It's weird that we're just talking about that. I know. I got to make it out there. I'll do a couple of these comments. We'll jump in. Simon says, can't wait to hear and look forward to meeting you. Absolutely. We got Mike comes in. Hello, Ace. I'm always trying to contact you, never able to contact you. What's the best way to work together? So it depends on what you're trying to do. if you're looking to join Dealmakers Institute and become a deal maker, I would go to dealmakersinstitute.com. And then you can schedule a call with somebody on the team, and they'll kind of walk you through, make sure you're matching. You get to work with that group. We're having a really amazing group. They're doing some really cool things that now combine business acquisitions with some cool things in income generation that are unique to the stock market right now. The other side of things, if you're interested in starting a fund, then you go to acechapman.com, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the evolution of like what that program looks like on the fun side of things. So it does, just fill out that form either way. I know a lot of people have reached out about on the PEFI side, and we haven't really been pushing that or starting any new groups because we've been in this transition stage from PEFI to the investment fund incubator. So that will be opening up soon. And again, that's what we're talking about today. So depending on what you're interested in, those are the two routes. PEFI's been closed. We haven't allowed any new folks. So if you were interested in PEFI, the reason you haven't heard back is that we just aren't doing anything. Actually, PEFI's over essentially. So PEFI's over. It's now investment fund incubator. If you were trying to get in touch with somebody on the Dealmakers Institute side, just shoot me a email, ace@acechapman.com, and CC Nori at financierbank.com. And we'll make sure that Curtis and get somebody in touch with you with the team. But they're pretty on it. So and feel there's just a lot of ways. Like hit me on Instagram or whatever. But those are the two things. If you haven't heard from anybody on PEFI, we just aren't. You'll get some news soon. If you haven't heard from anybody on Dealmakers, let us know. We'll get them in touch with you. Cool. So let's talk about this evolution. It's been really 2 years since we had the very first private equity fund incubator. It was just a experiment. I kind of had a couple people that were interested in funds, and I look back to when I first started helping people buy businesses. One of the main reasons that I started to do that was I had a mentor who I was sitting with one day, and he was looking at my financials. As some of you know, the original story, when we first started doing the kind of this mentor relationship, he was somebody who's flipped hospitals. I go down and I go to sit with them, and he's like, okay, like, what did you bring? Did you bring financials? Did you bring perspectives on deals? I'm like, well, no. He's like, so you just want to come and chit chat? So after that, I was always bringing my financials, and he was looking at my financials. He was like, why are you doing all this real estate stuff? And why aren't you focused more on the businesses? Because this is what's generating the income that's really just now been sucked into the real estate side of things, which, yeah, that's a long-term investment, but the real goal is like maximizing cash. And I kind of told him that it was just too much work. So I'll see you, Brittany. So, as I was working, doing these deals, I'm just like, I just don't have enough time. And he said, okay, that's great, but like, what's the solution to that? It's not just like, oh, I don't have enough time, so I'm not going to do this highly profitable thing. It's okay, you don't have enough time. What's the solution to fixing that so that you can do this highly profitable thing? My thought was the solution was do this other passive thing with real estate. And he was right to say, no, let's figure out how you can do more of these flipping business deals, because that's what's building your wealth a lot faster. So one of the ideas that we came up with was like, okay, what if you train people on how to do this and then you invest it in their deals? And so, my motivation, a lot of times people are like, man, like when you're teaching people, why don't you have this course and you can just do it online and people could come in and learn. And my goal has never been to make money off of the course. My goal was to make money off of doing deals with the people. And so it was more important, and Curtis does an amazing job of this right now with deal makers, where we want a relationship. So for you to just pay us money and go through an online course doesn't achieve the goal of us getting more deals. And it's been really exciting to see. I mean, now, we're part of businesses like Dealmakers Institute isn't really a course. It's almost like it's a private equity firm. So it's not necessarily a fund, but it's a firm where we're investing in deals. We're partnering with the students on deals. And so in the US, we have businesses from Washington to Atlanta to just close some deals in Texas. We're trying to do a deal in Colorado. And so this literally just worldwide deals, Phoenix, Arizona. I'm sorry, worldwide, nationwide. We're not doing any international deals with deal makers right now. I'm sorry, I'll let that police pass by. So we're not doing international deal makers side of things just because there are risks and complications and all that. But nationwide, we're doing these deals, and a lot of that was the impetus. And so I got to this next step where we had these private equity funds, but I was the main GP and kind of just understood all the dynamics. Part of the dynamics is just doing deals. The other dynamic is raising capital. The other dynamic is being able to manage and operate the fund, which is a lot more complicated than a lot of people understand, that in order to generate a really good ROI. So I've had ups and downs just figuring these things out. So as we're looking at like, okay, how do we expand this? I realize it's kind of flashback to my mentor. Is like, okay, I've got to figure out how to duplicate myself. And I still had the same trepidation. It's like, man, this is complicated. Like, how am I going to help people learn how to manage funds? And so the first PEFI was just a test. It was like, just figuring it out. It was building the plane as we were literally flying to figure out what are all the lessons. And a part of the beauty for me was it had been 20 years of me doing private equity deals. And so what happens when you spend that much time doing something, it's like they're just hundreds of lessons that are in the subconscious that just are difficult to sit down and just list out. And so what was really neat was having them ask questions, where I would say like, oh, well, this is the way that I do it. It's like, okay, well, like, why does it work that way? And then like, okay, well, why does that work that way? And just like backing in. And so it was just this really amazing exercise. And it was an amazing, talented group of folks. And, end result, amazing returns, all of that good stuff. And I realized, okay, let's do this a little bit more. So we start to do more of those, and it's worked out really well. So the next part of that was I had some influencers and experts in different industries that were basically saying, okay, I like what you're doing with this incubator. How can I apply something like that to my business? And been talking to a coach, helping a couple of folks behind the scenes, and that's been kind of evolved into what's now the investment fund incubator, where we're doing different funds. So it's not just me. Obviously I've got expertise in private equity. We're going to have Byron Sellers come on in a little bit. He's been in mobile homes for years, but the real goal now is how do we two things. It's not just about starting funds for the sake of starting funds. It's about what's the market missing? Because that's the thing with private. It's not that we're even doing like private equity as much as micro private equity. So, I felt like there was a need in the market. It's not just, oh, let's go do the 1,000th private equity fund. The real empty spot in the industry is micro private equity, which takes, the reason that most people don't do it is that it takes a whole nother skill set and experience. So the same thing with mobile homes. There aren't nearly as many mobile homes. There are all these mobile homes out there. There's not many mobile home funds because of the headaches and everything that's involved with mobile homes compared to the other sectors of real estate. And so that's the goal. We're looking at where is there a need, and then the third piece of that is returns. So very high returns. So as a lot of y'all know, in the PEFIs, we're doing 100, 200, 300% return of the fund. One of the reasons because they're smaller funds. So we want to figure out, okay, how do we take a smaller fund and get these very high returns? So those are the two things where one of the reasons you can get those really high returns because there isn't much competition. And then the other reason is the size of the fund and that kind of thing. You're getting if you're doing 300% return on a $1 billion fund, like you're probably going to have the SEC come to check out what's going on. But you can do that with $1 million fund, $2 million fund. So those were really the pieces that started to come together. So this was really just to jump on and kind of give an update on that because I know, we have some on this call. People have been reaching out, interested in PEFI. We haven't been accepting people. We had the people in PEFI 6, and basically they had made deposits, gave them their money back. It's like, hey, this thing is going to be something totally different, and it's not fair to keep your money as we are. It is something. So if you're interested in the new thing, then you can come back. But I don't want to take the money and say, oh, well, this is what it is now. So there are some very cool things coming down the pipe that, I'll be talking more about. But mainly today, I wanted to give this introduction because at 1:30 Eastern, about 15 minutes from now, we're going to have Byron on, my fellow GP in the mobile home fund. And y'all be able to ask him questions and all that. We'll do a few questions, and then hopefully y'all will come back here in about 15 minutes. Let's see. Otto, what's up? So Otto asked, do you still own online assets? Absolutely. I own several of them. And now it's getting interesting to buy them again. There was a little while where they were just too expensive. The great thing about where the economy is now, some of the sellers are getting a little bit more anxious to sell, are willing to do some seller financing, and that becomes a better opportunity. So I tell you exactly what I'm doing. I'm not keeping a secret. So, and I've got friends that are heavy in the internet space. But when I feel like the valuations are getting outrageous, I just step away. So the past, especially during COVID, that just became this other escape. But past 4 years, very high valuations. Now it's getting to be very interesting again to do these deals. Edward, why did you choose to leave the U.S.? There's just so many reasons. There's so many reasons. I feel like that's its own video. But at a very high level, I'm interested in the same way that growing a small business interests me. It's very interesting to be in a place that's emerging. It's not like I'm just leaving the U.S. to go to England. I want to go to a place that's like it's an emerging market, and there are so many reasons. Like number one, I like spending a lot of money. Like I like making a lot of money and spending a little money, and so to live the way that I want to live doesn't cost nearly as much. Access to talent. I was with somebody last night. We went to dinner and we're just talking about the amount of talent here in Brazil. I was with a young lady that works for a lot of startups here, and just like So more and more people are learning English and want to get good because and then you're just giving somebody this amazing opportunity as well. And so the impact that you can have on an employee's life, yeah, like that becomes really cool as well. So it's a long list. I think lifestyle is huge for me, and then just culture. Joe Rogan. I was listening to a clip, and he was talking about his friend went into the Starbucks, and he ordered Starbucks for him. He ordered Starbucks for his wife, and he's like, "Oh, my wife wants whatever." And the barista's like, "You mean your partner?" And it's like, what? Like, it's just like all of these. The woke thing is just like we're so, people are so spoiled. Bottom line, like I don't want to be around a bunch of spoiled people. I think in America, people are a lot of the young, especially young generation, is very, very spoiled. And so you go to these other places and you get this talent, and they're hungry and like they're not worried about what pronouns you're using because they're trying to like make money for their family to survive. So I prefer that. I'm not worried about pronouns. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I did have my very first Portuguese lesson yesterday, which, I'm very excited to start learning. I feel like my Spanish is now at a point that I'm not going to confuse them. Having Spanish has helped a little bit here. But he says, Wagwan man, greetings from Brazil. Thank you so much for popping in. I am absolutely loving it here. Could you please talk about benefits, talk about legalizing cannabis and its benefits? So we are looking at a deal right now that's in the cannabis space, and we've done something that's in that arena. So I will talk about that. I definitely will. We're getting close to the. I'm actually just going to split this, turn this off, and then I'm going to be right back on here in a sec. Let's get these last couple. But I guess the one thing I would say is I'm very bullish and definitely interested in that space, and I'll definitely dig more into that for sure in an upcoming video. Curtis Davis pops in, says, Jello, what's up? Thanks. Says, hello, good topic. All right, said Mike. We'll take this one and then we'll bounce out. Would you consider a fund for entertainment projects? I have access to film projects, Academy Award filmmakers, and top music entertainers. So if those characteristics that I was talking about are the most important things. So if that is the case, there's, I don't think there's a lot of funds that are out there that are doing it. The toughest thing would be, have you been doing it, and what has been your historical return? And then, we're looking for returns that are going to be in that 100 to 300 range. So, when it comes to, and that's what we will talk about with Brian, when it comes to the raising capital and the LPs, like what he has is just a very intensive and long historic. Here's this deal. Here's the closing documents. This is what we closed it at. You can go and you can check it in the records. Here's what we sold it at. Here was the return. Here was the cash on cash return versus the total ROI. And so if you can do that, you're like, I got this 100 of these, then that becomes, so that those would be the I guess the three things: is not much competition, history of returns, and then amount of returns. Awesome. All right. Pop back on in a bit and we'll dig into things with Bar.